Hi guys, it's Mrs. Wood. We're back for another day of Point of View. I can't believe it's already Friday. We're going to go over some things that we've learned about Point of View and learn something new about it today. So far, let's recap. We've learned that Point of View tells us who is telling the story. We know that whoever's telling the story can either be a character, that's someone who's in the story, or it can be the narrator, that's someone who's outside. It has to be one of those two things, either someone in the story or someone outside of the story. Yesterday, we learned with Frog and Toad that there can be more than one character whose point of view we're hearing the story told from. So yesterday, we learned that sometimes Frog was telling the story and sometimes it was Toad, but then you also still had the narrator. Well, we also saw yesterday, even though we didn't talk about it, that Frog and Toad felt different throughout the story. Toad was super disappointed that his seeds wouldn't grow, and he was upset and frustrated. But Frog was very hopeful, and he kept telling him to try again. So they saw it two different ways. It was the same thing. It's a lot like those Post-its with Jacob. I see them as something to write on. Jacob sees them as something to chew on. So before we get started today, I want us to brainstorm some ways that you might feel about something. So go ahead, shout out some feeling words to me right now. Okay, what are some more? That's a good one. Can you give me another one? Right. So here's some that I heard and that I thought of. Sad. Have you ever felt sad before? Yeah, that's a feeling. What about mad? Have any of you ever been mad before? Or read a story maybe where someone was mad? Right, because that's another feeling that we can have. I have upset. That's another feeling. Happy. Excited. Scared. Disappointed. And tired. Now, I know some of you said some other ones, and that's okay. There's lots of different ways we can feel. But what we're going to do today is we're going to read the story, Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day. And as we're reading, we're going to decide how the characters are feeling throughout the story. So listen as I read. Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day, written by Judith Viorst, illustrated by Ray Cruz. I went to sleep with gum in my mouth, and now there's gum in my hair. And when I got out of bed this morning, I tripped on the skateboard, and by mistake, I dropped my sweater in the sink while the water was running, and I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. So how do you think Alexander is feeling right now? I think he's feeling a little bit tired. He's feeling sad and mad and upset. He's even feeling a little bit disappointed. So he's telling the story right now, and his point of view is not very good. At breakfast, Anthony found a Corvette Stingray car kit in his breakfast cereal box. And Nick found a junior undercover agent code ring in his breakfast cereal box. But in my breakfast cereal box, all I found was breakfast cereal. So here we have three characters. We have Anthony. We have Nick. So here's Anthony. Here's Nick. And here's Alexander. Anthony found a car in his breakfast cereal box. Nick found a super detective agent kit, and Alexander only had cereal. So how do you think these two brothers are feeling that they got a prize in their box? Right, they're probably feeling excited or happy. But Alexander is feeling sad or disappointed. So they had the same thing. They're all eating breakfast cereal, but they feel different about it. They have different point of views for breakfast that morning? I think I'll move to Australia. In the carpool, Mrs. Gibson let Becky have a seat by the window. Audrey and Elliot got seats by the window too. I said I was being scrunched. I said I was being smushed. I said if I don't get a seat by the window, I'm going to be car sick. No one even answered. So here we have all these kids in the car. Mrs. Gibson is driving. She's letting Becky sit by the window in the front. Audrey and Elliot are in the back and they're sitting by the windows. And poor Alexander is in the middle, all scrunched. So how do you think Audrey and Elliot and Becky are feeling? Right. They're feeling happy or excited. They got seats by the window. They can see out. They can see what's going on. But poor Alexander is scrunched in the middle. How's he feeling? Yeah, he's still sad and mad and upset. His point of view is that today is a bad day. But how do the others feel? They're having an okay day, right? I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. Who's telling this story? Right, it's Alexander. So in this story, Alexander is the one telling how everything happened this day. And he thinks it wasn't a very good day. So what I want you to do right now is get out your week 3, day 5 packet. And I want you to turn to the page that says, say what? Because we're going to find out who said what in this story. So I'm going to share this with you on the screen, and we're going to work through doing this together so we can figure out how everyone in the story was feeling. So what we're going to do here is we're going to use the evidence that's on the left to help us determine what the character's point of view would be. And we're going to write our answer in the right. So on the very first page, it said, let me get back there. My pages are sticking together. It said, I went to sleep with gum in my mouth, and now there's gum in my hair. And when I got out of bed this morning, I tripped on the skateboard, and by mistake, I dropped my sweater in the sink where the water was running, and I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. So our evidence here, remember, this is what we use to prove something, says Alexander had gum in his hair. How do you think Alexander is feeling? Right. So we're going to put that on the line. Alexander's point of view, I'm going to use the word upset. So for number 1, write the word upset. That's how Alexander was feeling. All right, let's look at number 2. Oh, here we are at the breakfast table again. At breakfast, Anthony found a Corvette Stingray car kit in his breakfast cereal box. Nick found a junior undercover agent code ring in his breakfast cereal box. But in my breakfast cereal box, all I found was breakfast cereal. How does Nick feel? What's his point of view? Nick found a junior undercover agent in his breakfast cereal box. Write your answer on the line. Do you think Nick was sad that he got a prize, mad, upset, happy, excited, scared, disappointed, or tired? If you need more time, you can pause the video to write your answer. All right, and then the third one says, Mrs. Gibson let Becky have a seat by the window. So in the carpool, Mrs. Gibson let Becky have a seat by the window. Audrey and Elliot got seats by the window too. I said I was being scrunched. I said I was being smushed. I said if I don't get a seat by the window, I'm going to be car sick. No one even answered. How was Becky feeling that she got a seat by the window? Was she sad, mad, upset, happy, excited, scared, disappointed, or tired? Go ahead and write your answer on the line. All right. So if we go back and we look at all of these events, we can see that in all three events, Alexander is not having a good day. When there's gum in his hair, he's upset. When Nick and Anthony get toys, he's upset. When he has to go in the middle, he's upset. But it's a little bit different for other people. When Nick and Anthony get prizes, they feel excited or they feel happy. And when Becky gets to look out the window, she feels excited or happy. So different characters in the same story, feeling the same thing or experiencing the same things, can have different feelings. So it's important to make sure that we are paying attention to how these characters are feeling so that we know what they're doing. So you don't have to turn that in today, and there's no other reading assignments. We just did it together. But what I want you to do is pay attention as you're reading. Look for those quotation marks so you know who's talking. Try to figure out, are they a character in the story or are they a narrator from outside the story? And then pay attention to see how different characters feel about different things happening. We're going to pick up with point of view next week. So enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you guys on Monday.